Cuccinelli, now the former Virginia Attorney General, and Ken, I'll just ask you about the former FBI Director Mueller's role here as a chief counsel in all of this, and these intimations that were raised about the possibility he could be fired by Donald Trump. That's been sort of disavowed at the White House, but that would be problematic, not the least of which is just finding someone to fire him. I would guess, listening to Mr. Rosen say, it wouldn't be him. So what do you make of this?
Well, and of course, the Attorney General's recused himself entirely. So I think the Deputy Attorney General's answer really stands clearly for itself. There's no guile there. The regulation that allows the appointment of that special counsel provides for firing only for cause. Now, cause could be that there's nothing left to investigate, and so the whole thing is shut down. But that's clearly not where we are now. And despite some of the mongering on the left, that has not been something that the White House has suggested is a course they want to undertake. So there's no real there at this point. Could other things happen in the future? Yes, lots of things. We could be hit by an asteroid and make all this irrelevant. But
well, there we go. The tax cuts, I guess. Of course, you're hit by an asteroid. It's a moot point.
But that's just not going anywhere at this point. And I think it's going to be a pretty boring afternoon as substance goes for those looking at what the Attorney General has to say this afternoon.
You know, Ken, in the meantime, as you and I have been chatting here, Daniel Richman, you remember, he was the friend of James Comey, to whom the former director leaked that memo that was ultimately leaked to the press, detailing how he argued the president seemed to be strong-arming him into going slow and light on General Flynn. What we're hearing as well is that the committee now has the information, or Richmond has provided the information, and that Richmond is saying that the special counsel, referring to Mueller, has been in contact with the committee to discuss access. In the meantime, he continues to turn over relevant materials to the FBI. So where is this going? Well,
that's going to take its own course, but Comey's testimony seemed to suggest that that memo alone is something of a nothing burger. The irony of it is that Comey was doing the leaking, and that doesn't buttress his credibility here. But be that as it may, what Comey had to say in his hearing was no collusion investigation of Trump, as Trump had said. Thus far, they're looking at the Russian role in the election, but there's no evidence of collusion yet, which is, by the way, what the ranking Democrat, Mark Warner, said as well on the Sunday talk shows. So far, we know that Russia was trying to mess around in our election. They've been doing it in everybody's, including ours, for some time. The French election recently, that's not news. But there's no evidence of collusion to this point. And if anything, Jim Comey suggested further that was the case and made it a bit more official. Now, they're not done looking, and I'm sure there'll be more research by the intelligence agencies, because we do want to know what Russia was doing, but it still doesn't look like there was any collusion with the Trump campaign.
But if you don't mind my taking it to the full extreme here, Ken,
sure.
What if there were? What if there were collusion? I'm told by other lawyers, I'm not a lawyer myself, but that is not, even in its extreme, an impeachable offense. That surprised me, but is that the case?
Well, impeachment is very loosely defined. It's a political offense. It's not a crime. Anything that can get the votes of a majority of the House members can get you a bill of impeachment. That doesn't mean you'll get the 2/3 vote in the Senate needed to actually remove from office or to find impeachment or to convict. That's not the right word here, but to a finding of the president under that. So it would be a big deal that there was collusion. If nothing else, it'd be the first time in American history. But like I said, so far there's no evidence of that.
Well, do you see any evidence that Director Mueller might have an agenda, that he and Comey are apparently tight enough, and Comey is complimentary enough in the public hearing, we're told even more effusive in the private hearing, that maybe the deck is stacked against the president?
Look, Mueller has a extraordinarily high reputation in the law enforcement community. It is not hard to imagine someone coming out of the law enforcement community like James Comey expressing that view. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone in the law enforcement community who's interacted with Robert Mueller that doesn't have that view. But to read into those professional compliments the notion that he has an axe to grind, I think goes too far. I mean, this is going to play itself out. I think there's reason to believe Mueller is a credible agent to pursue this. I think that a lot of us have the same concern we've had over historically, and that is that any of these special counsels kind of start running amok all over the place. But if he stays focused on the Russia issues, I think that's going to be good for America to learn all of that and to have it all fleshed out and laid before us.
All right, Ken Cuccinelli, former Virginia Attorney General. Very good catching up with you. Thank you.
Good to be with you.